Hey, it's Richard. So today I wanted to talk to you about how I wrote and created my first Jamaican children's book, Ian Takes Flight. So let me tell you a story. So I was always reading. And when I was in like grade 4, there was just like this little reading corner. And I think the name of my teacher was Miss Chambers. And she had this little corner where the kids could go. She like put linoleum there and made it like a really special place. And the kids could go there and just kind of read, and like break time or stuff like that. I remember how, this corner really affected me, how much I just love being around these books. I used to borrow the books and like I would like have them at home for like the whole year. And I usually, when I'm like eating food or anything like that, I would like take out a book and read, because sometimes another family member would have had the TV to themselves. So I was always reading. So when the pandemic hit in 2020, there was a lot of personal things happening in my life, and there was this borderline depression that I was going through. So during that time, I was doing this thing where I would paint every day. I would create a painting every day and post it on Instagram. So with doing all of this, I remember during that time, me and my friend Michael Talbot, we would talk a lot. I remember when I used to leave work, I used to call him and I would talk with him on the car ride over to home. And I remember one of our conversations, I was saying that we're always doing children's books for other clients, and I was telling them, hey, I wanted to do a children's book for myself. Michael already had a book out. It wasn't a children's book, it's his book called Atlas, which is more like a graphic novel, but I didn't really have a book for myself, so I wanted a book. And during that time, I had this children's book commission that I was working on. It was a book that I started some time ago, years before, but then I didn't finish. And then the client basically came back and said, hey, we want to get this book going up and going again, and so we decided to start over about the book. So I ended up using my children's book as a way to understand what the illustrations for that commission would look like. So that was pretty exciting. So I didn't have any clue how to write a children's book. No clue whatsoever. I only knew about drawing. Drawing was what I do. I would usually get a story and create images for that. But this was different, because now I had to create the story. And where was the story going to come from? I don't know. Where would it come from? I remember when I sat down to really start put the words together, how I started to do it. I just started putting down words, because I knew that I wanted to talk about an experience that I would have wanted to have had when I was a child. And then I started to remember the experience that I had when I would spend time in the country, in the rural area in St. Mary, and I started to remember those memories. And then the story kind of just happened out of that. And how I would do it, I would just write a little paragraph every day, and then do an image for that paragraph every day, and then post it on Instagram. Sometimes when me and Michael were having our conversation, when I'm heading home, I'll have the image in my mind and then wonder, this is the image, I wonder what's going to happen in the story. So it's almost like the story was almost writing itself in this strange, interesting way. So basically, I was posting the story every day, and then sometimes in the night, me and Michael would go on IG Live, and then I would paint some parts of the book on IG Live, and that was interesting, because then people could see the book slowly coming together, and people who were on my Instagram seeing what I was posting every day, they were excited, and then seeing me create a scene or a page on Instagram Live, and then seeing the page being posted after with the words for the story, the continuation of the story was pretty exciting. And I remember I got a call at work, and it was Olivia from Earth and the Fullness. She actually reached out and said, hey, she really likes what's happening with the story, and she'd actually like to create some music for the story. And then she basically asked, what are my intentions for the story, and I said, well, hey, I mean, I want to do a book with it, but you know, I'm not sure what that process is. And then that was when she introduced me to Bookman Express. We decided that, okay, we're gonna have a meeting. So me, Olivia, and Bookman Express team, who's my publisher for the book, we had our first meeting, and you know, everybody was cool. It was a really good energy, and we decided, hey, we're gonna move forward with the book. So then we started a WhatsApp group for the book where we discuss, you know, little things here and there that needed to get done, you know. But the book didn't have a name. The WhatsApp group was basically called Book of Ian, and that was basically it, you know. And we, in that group, we were talking a lot about you know, different ideas for the book, in terms of when it was to be released and stuff like that. At that time, when the publisher got on board, I didn't have an ending for the book. I didn't know how the book was going to end. So what happened is that me and my family took a trip, and you know where we went? We went to St. Mary, basically the place where the book took place. And going there was such an interesting experience, because I remember there's this place there that we call Spring, and it's like an area where they would go to catch water. And I remember going to a spring, and the spring was like along a path, you know, with like a lot of bushes, a lot of trees. There was like this hill area, and I went on top of that hill area, and then I looked across into the distance, and what I saw was a tree that I've never seen before. I've never took notice of that tree before in all my years growing up, and this tree was definitely older than me, or just as old as me. And it wasn't like this clearing, and it was like this, there was just an area across the way that was completely cleared out, and the grass was so neat, and there was just one tree there. And I said, what is it about that tree? I need to get to that tree. But where I was standing, if I were to like walk down and go directly to that tree, there would be a lot of thorns, and there was a lot of, I basically couldn't see the way from there. There wasn't a way that was possible to get there. So I tried, and then I went and I found an alternative route where there were a lot of cows there, and I remember there was like a little area where there was like a stream there, and I had to go and find like a piece of wood and like put it over the stream so I could walk on it. I remember there was some cows just randomly looking at me. It was kind of weird. And I eventually found my way to the tree. I think it was on someone else's property, and there was this really tall grass, and then right at the end of that tall grass there was this barbed wire fence, and I had to go underneath that fence, and I even got a few scratches. But then I was on the grass I told you about, the very neat grass, and then I climbed up the slope, and then I saw the tree. I was like, wow. It was like a really old tree. I was like, this is so interesting. And it was just a magical experience, just being under that tree and just kind of looking. Because I've never been here before. It was it was almost like a different world. And I used that experience to write the rest of the story. And if anybody who's read the story, they'll know exactly the tree that I'm talking about. And I came back from country, and then I finished writing the manuscript. The manuscript was basically finished. It was after the editing. Me and Bookman Express and Olivia, we had these meetings every other Sunday to every Sunday, talking about the book and the different edits that were to take place, because Olivia was the editor for the book. And you know, so after all those meetings, the book was starting to come together in its final form, but we still didn't have a name for it. And I remember I was at work one day, and I called my friend Hakeem, or I call him Kimo, and I was saying, hey, I don't have a name for the book. You know, do you have any ideas? And he just came up with Ian Takes Flight. I was like, wow, I like that. That's gonna be the name for the book. And then I passed the information off to the rest of the team, and then they were like, hey, yeah, we love this name. And then the WhatsApp group changed from Book of Ian to Ian Takes Flight. So after after the back and forth and everything, and me putting the book together after it was edited, and the bookman getting it printed, it was finished. The book was finished. And I remember seeing an image that was posted in the WhatsApp group with the first shipment of books that bookman got. I was like, wow, this was amazing. And I remember the first time I felt one of the books in my hand, it was when Sasha and the Book Boys came. The Book Boys, they're the sons of Sasha and Dottie Bookman. Bookman Express is the publisher. So Bookman Express is like a family business. So the Book Boys are their sons. And I remember getting the book in hand, and I was like, wow, I couldn't control myself. It was just such a magical experience, putting something together. You're not knowing what the final product is going to be, but then you started it anyway, and now you have something physical in your hand. It was just so magical. It was so magical. And then after that experience, we had the book launch to do, and I remember during that time Mariana from Mariana's Kitchen actually reached out, and we ended up doing the book launch there, and that was just a really magical experience. Just all signing the books. I had like a magical feather pen with a tub of ink that I used to illustrate the book, so I signed all the books with that. And during that time I got my Prime Minister Youth Award in the category of Arts and Culture, so there was an extra added buzz onto that was on me as an individual, and then plus the book. So then there were newspaper articles, there was different TV appearances and morning shows, and that was really amazing. I remember something that really stood out to me during one of those morning shows, and it was when Neville from Smile Jamaica said, how did you know that you could write this book and just be an author? I said I didn't know. I just didn't care about failing. I thought that, hey, I'm going to do this, and once I'm okay with it, then it's fine. That mindset somehow is what got me here, where now I'm a published author. I have a book out. So everything moved from strength to strength after that. From having little painting events where I would teach kids to paint, we would draw a scene from the book, and we would talk about the book, and during those events Olivia would read parts of the book, and then to Read Across Jamaica Day, where I did other demonstrations and Olivia did readings, and then we got invited to an international book festival, Reading is Magic Festival. So our appearance is yet to come, because that's in September here, and all this happened because I wanted to do something, and I did it. So start that project that you've been sleeping on, because you never know where it's going to take you. You don't know, and you might be waiting until it's the right time, but start now. Now is the right time to do it. You'll be happy you did. So thanks.